Hi everyone, this is Stephen Devlin with MacDev Financial and welcome to Financial Control for Life. I wanted to introduce our lovely CEO and my wonderful wife, Michele Devlin.
Thank you.
And on today's episode, we're going to talk about life insurance is love assurance.
And, on that topic, there's a lot of misconceptions around life insurance. We hear it all the time. And so, two of those main ones are, what is it? And how can it be leveraged and utilized in my everyday life?
Well, life insurance protects the people you love from an unpredictable event that sometimes is hard to talk about. There's also other numerous advantages of using life insurance actually while you're living.
Here are three things that you need to know about it. That is term versus whole life, permanent insurance. Do you even need it? Is it a scam? Those are things. And, why is no one talking about this?
Yeah, awesome. Three things about the topic, Michele. Number one, term versus whole life. This is an educational opportunity for us to learn about what term is. Term is basically having life insurance for a specific term in your life. It could be 10 years, 20, up to age 65. And then there's what's called permanent life insurance, which means you actually have life insurance for your entire life and will pay out once you do pass on. Another great question is, why do we choose term versus whole life? Well, term is only for a certain time. A lot of people think, hey, I only need it, Stephen, for this time in my life. I don't want it after. And whereas whole life is a little bit different because it starts to help with preserving assets, estate planning, transferring wealth, legacy, creation, paying off debts that maybe people have later in life, even in their 60s, 70s. They may have good debt still in their asset list and their debt list.
So I think something that does come up quite often is the cost. Could you go into that a bit?
Yeah, term is a great entry into life insurance. It's super cheap because the insurance company knows the mortality, how old you are, and the risks. And then what happens is term becomes very expensive later because you're getting closer to that time, right? As we know.
Yeah. Often I think the thing that does come up with our clients is the cost between the different types of life insurance.
Yeah, that's an excellent question, Michele. Cost with term is an easy gateway into life insurance. It's very affordable because you're at a very young age and mortality is later in life. So the cost for the insurance company is proportional based on the term and how old you're getting later in the future. The interesting thing about term insurance is when you go right to that term and you renew it every, say, 20 years, it's super pricey when you get up to that level.
Yeah.
And then people end up not being able to afford it now because it's super expensive.
Well, I know so many people that's happened to. By the time they're getting close to 60, it's just become unaffordable. And and they need it.
Exactly. And then you go with permanent life insurance whole life, premiums are a lot more than term insurance right out of the gate. But those are level premiums, which means they never go up. They're always the same. So if I'm insuring someone who's 15 years old, and they're 60 years old, they're actually paying premiums on a 15-year-old, so it's a hedge against inflation. And when I run the math on this, I'll show that you actually will pay more on term insurance if you go to those terms and keep renewing based on whole life. The other cool thing about whole life is premiums can be paid up, which means you don't have to pay for your life insurance anymore.
We just talked about term and whole life, and we went over what that is and how important it is. And then there was our second point, and that is, do you even need it? And, we've all heard that maybe it's a scam. Could you go into that and just tell us more about those things? Why do we need it?
Yeah.
And is it a scam? Is life insurance a scam?
Yeah, that's awesome. A lot of young people think they don't need it because, hey, they're just starting out in life. They don't have a lot of assets, no debts yet. There's one thing that people kind of talk about, I don't need it, Stephen. It's just not time for me. I don't have family. I don't have children, right? That comes up a lot. Another time, there's advisors maybe that have not looked at the true benefits and not designed policies properly to show people how they can actually take advantage of the living benefits of life insurance as well. There's negative connotations about life insurance all the time. Insurance companies sometimes actually don't pay out the death benefits, and that becomes negative for people too, because maybe the underwriting was done at post-claim, not in the beginning. So that can happen as well. And it really, is it worth the cost? You have to have a value based to everything you pay in life called your protective expenses. it needs to provide value. And yes, it's absolutely worth the cost, because for pennies on the dollar, there's a huge death benefit that's paying out if something were to happen to you, even later in life, if you go right to whole life and go right to age 100 when we run the math. So it's definitely necessary to have, and it's definitely worth the cost.
So, Steve, I really feel like people aren't talking about life insurance enough. They really do avoid the subject. And, you know, we've heard it so many times where people need life insurance and then don't have it. So let's elaborate on that a little bit here.
That's important. Death is a very difficult topic, something that we do not want to talk about, our mortality at times. It's difficult in a family even to talk about money. So those things don't come up for people. Also, you know, your financial advisor may not be addressing specific needs around the living side, or they may not be educated to teach that. So that can come up as well. Mm-hmm. People are procrastinating also. Say, I'll get to it later. It's not right for me at this time in my life, right?
We all do that.
Yeah. Another reason comes up is, hey, I'm in excellent health. You know, I don't need life insurance, Stephen. Or I have a lot of assets already, so I don't need that, right, for paying out my debts. I already have assets that'll do that. My kids will sell everything, right? They'll go and sell everything and pay off everything, so I don't need that cost of life insurance.
Yeah, we definitely hear that.
Also, hey, I'm too old for this is another thing that comes up, right? Well, I have a lot of clients that are in their 50s, 60s, 70s that are getting this asset class for their futures, for the estate planning, for the wealth generation they want to create in their life, and for their kids or grandkids or great-great-grandkids. So those are some key components to why people aren't talking about it. And we just are here to address that you should be talking about it. You know, on a day-to-day basis, I'm working with clients and families and helping them navigate their financial goals and talking about life insurance. And I've had a lot of stories in their lives embrace me and how I was able to help solve a problem for them. But for Michele and I, it's personal as well. We have a couple quick stories we want to share. And a big one for me, it's emotional actually, is around Michele and how, as a life insurance advisor, I couldn't even get life insurance on my beautiful wife and CEO. So we'll lead into your story.
Yeah, I had significant medical challenges when I was younger, and then I was diagnosed with cancer back in 2013, and I didn't have critical illness. I wasn't eligible for it. I didn't have any significant life insurance either, because I was always not eligible or denied it. And so it's a odd position to be in when you own a financial company and you actually don't qualify for many of the products that you offer. So I did eventually get life insurance. I do have whole life actually. It's not the same as what Steve gets to enjoy and our son and the rest of our clients, but at least I'm protected a certain amount. And I do have CI and everything else as well now.
And you're 10 years since that.
Yeah,
so
I'm 10
amazing.
years free. So
awesome.
That's good.
Yeah, so that's, you know, it's important we were able to get that for her. So we always navigate solutions if there's challenges for clients and how to help them achieve those goals. For me personally, losing a very dear friend at 38 years old was a big impact for me personally, and how I was helping
for both of us,
family, and how he was such an incredible human being, and just all of a sudden he's not there, and then having to work through, you know, doing the claim on my own friend. So that was big impact for me too. And why I keep telling people, you know, you don't know in life. You've got to get this in place. 38 years old, healthy person. He was out on my boat the week prior. So it's one thing that we want to talk about.
You do
too.
mention that, and I unfortunately have gone to many funerals having cancer. I've been exposed to people at different levels of it, and some have not made it. And some of the first questions I hear is, did they have life insurance? And my response is, well, do you? Because that's the thing. We don't think about it until you need it. And you really do need to think of it ahead of time.
You know what? It's too important, life insurance. It's affordable. You have to have it. I'm talking even children having it for their futures in case something happens in terms of their health and insurability. Yeah, so that's huge. Don't put this off. Have a conversation with us. We just want to get to know you and find out how we can help you achieve those financial goals. Get the right protection in place. Don't leave your family in a big lurch. Respect your family. Respect the challenges they go through to pay off debts, to handle the funeral, to leave a legacy. All that stuff needs to be addressed. There's no greater asset than yourself living and breathing. One of the big things we do at MacDev is we believe you are your greatest asset living and breathing. And so why wouldn't you want to insure?
And that's the love assurance, right? That's the component of it.
Yeah.
If you love your family, you'll do this for them. If you love your business partners, you will take care of them. That's love assurance. And that's what this is all about.
Everyone, if this has resonated with you and you find yourself curious about how life insurance works and do you have enough protection? Are you overinsured, underinsured, and really want to get more value? We just want to help and educate and give you options.
And perfect place is to go to our website at MacDevFinancial.com, and there you'll find educate yourself and financial tools that you can download and use for yourself. The other thing you could do is you could book a call with us, a discovery call. There's a button right on our website, and that's MacDevFinancial.com, and you'll be able to have a call with Stephen.
All right, that's a wrap for our first financial podcast, Financial Control for Life, and Life Insurance is Love Insurance. Hope everybody got huge value. I just want to thank you so much for coming on to this episode. Michele and I are really excited to get to know you better and how we can best help serve you and help you achieve your financial goals. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.